JD Vance is obviously in a very difficult position. So he joins the ticket with Donald Trump, and it doesn't help Trump. It doesn't help him. Both of their approval ratings are doing really badly, and Harris is now leading. And so the question is, how do you turn things around when the polls are looking so bad? Here is his attempt to deal with that question.
Washington Post, ABC, they're giving the vice president nationally a 4 to 5 point lead over. I mean, those are new numbers. So if you think the momentum is not swinging, or your internal polls are suggesting differently, every other poll that's been released has shown great momentum in her direction.
You know, Shannon, I think there are a lot of polls that actually show her stagnating and leveling off. Let me just say one final point on this, Shannon, because I think it's important. Consistently, what you've seen in 2016 and 2020 is that the media uses fake polls to drive down Republican turnout and to create dissension and conflict with Republican voters. I'm telling you, every single person who's watching this, the Trump campaign is in a very, very good spot. We're going to win this race. We just have to run through the finish line.
Okay, so there is this, I guess a thing that a lot of VPs need to do, but particularly JD Vance. If you come on as Trump's VP, you need to apologize for the insane things that he says, that you definitely wish that he hadn't said and probably don't believe. And you have to sign on even more enthusiastically than you did during your tryout to all of the conspiracy theories. So if the polls are going against you, which they are, in that poll that they were talking about, Harris has a 6-point lead among likely voters. And in particular, independents swung from +4 to Trump against Biden back in July to Harris +11 over Trump in August. That's a big change. There's not a lot of evidence that she's stagnating. Now, he can make the point that the polls might be undercounting support for the Republicans this year like they did in 2020. You can say that, but that's not good enough for them. It has to be a fake poll, not a poll that's flawed, a fake poll, and a fake poll being used with a motivation that he cannot possibly know to stop Republicans from turning out. Which, by the way, like when you're leading in the polls, people worry about apathy. Now, automatically, if you're trailing by 4 points, then I guess there's no point anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's definitely not true. And so, but he has to say this because Trump has talked about fake polls and real polls, and so he has to have the same position.
Yeah, it's bad. First of all, when you see JD Vance talk, it is so sad because everybody's looking at him being like, did he have sex with a couch? And then every time he tries to get back on the front foot, it's just so forced. He really has Hillary energy.
Interesting. I've never thought about them.
More of it like a Jeff, It's not. He's not a good candidate.
There's nothing natural.
And when you realize that this guy was handpicked because of the identity politics to become a big thing by a Silicon Valley billionaire, Peter Thiel, it all falls into place. It all maybe it's more of a Jeb, please clap energy. And we've actually had moments where that's resonated quite a bit without, and other people have brought that up. In terms of saying that the polls are fake, that is ridiculous. It is, I would believe it if it was something that's new and that at every turn, it just seems like Trump has the same kind of pitch and his team has the same kind of pitch for every poll result, which is like, if we're losing, we're winning. If we're winning, we're really winning. The polls only are right when they favor him and they're wrong when they don't.
Well, and in the same way, if the news is bad, that's good for us. If the news is good, that's good for us because the news is only good because they think that we're going to win even if we're losing the polls.
Yeah, and it flips back and forth based on, like, he takes two separate sides, two different days in sequence.
And by the way, there's every reason to believe that he could be up in the polls soon. And they'll probably, again, they can flip. They can flip anytime they want. It's all fake. And again, it doesn't mean that the polls are accurate or that you should trust them or that you should care about them. But it doesn't really mean anything for JD Vance to take this position because we all know that he's just echoing what he's heard Donald Trump say.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.